Yeah, that would be, the museum was a big start because I did find little cities there, and I had just about little cities that were carved. I don't know what country they were carved from, but they were carved out of almost like a cedar chip, and I still have them to this day. So those, I think they were at $7, and I had only $5 in change, and I saved up money to buy them, and I still have them to this day. They're two little cities. They may be from Peru, I'm not sure, but then I built a whole world around those cities. So that's where it all started, I believe, the Newark Museum. When we left Newark, I did, and then when I went into the school system, that's where I found it as a comforting place for me to be. I used to create rooms with Barbie dolls, and I created furniture, dresses, and everything in the house. It was a form of escapism for me. Well, severe roadblocks, severe bullying, and isolation. And that's where the isolation actually helped me move into the arts. So that's where I found it was more comfortable for me, actually for the entire student body. When we were in an art class, everyone was copacetic, everyone was getting along, everyone was doing their own thing, and there was no separation. Art seemed to bring everyone together. So art is where I gravitated towards because I was a different child. I was my mother's child. I mean, at one point she was ready to leave my father and go back to England because it was not easy for her and she was going to take me with her. And I said, Mom, I'm really glad you didn't because I don't think that I would have the opportunities in England that I have in America. I've accomplished so much in this country. And I do embrace adversity. I learned back then to embrace adversity, to enjoy it, and to get through it, and to fight and to claw your way to the top. In 1971, when we moved to New Jersey on Mallard Road, I used to build cities in the backyard and create them and destroy them and rebuild them, and then create them and destroy them like Godzilla, and rebuild them, and create them and destroy them until I was using that as my own city, my own utopia. And at that one point, I remember one point in the backyard in Bayville, a number of thugs, I'll call them, jumped over our fence and pummeled me, about 5 kids from the neighborhood. And my mom was just so upset because she used to watch me from out the window and started yelling at them, and they all scattered. But I was really welted from that. And again, I knew that they were all cowards because unfortunately, what doesn't kill you does definitely make you stronger. My saying is your superpower is your uniqueness. So my superpower is my uniqueness. I've learned that through experience and through the traumas of suffering not only in America, in the American school system, in American society. My mother was from England, so I was raised with a different type of demeanor. My father was more of the Italian brute, so he had a conflict with me because I was more of the softer spoken. So even in the home, it was difficult growing up. My dad was a musician. He used to do gigs. I remember Bill Jr. and his band. I mean, I love my father. And actually, if without my dad's strength and without his toughness, I mean, I was raised a boxer. I wouldn't be able to get through society. I know how to fight. It's so funny because the cowards all want to attack you at once. And one-on-one, I can kick the crap out of them. So the beautiful thing about that is he was a musician, always music, playing saxophone, always playing something artistic in the house. And my mother loved Star Trek. So we used to go to Star Trek conventions, live long and prosper. And we used to dress up. I was Spock's brain one year. And the whole family, that was our vacation. We'd go to the Statler Hilton in New York City. And for 4 days, we would be immersed in different minds and different cultures and different personalities. In my world, I've always had a vision because I've escaped this world, learning to embrace a different type of vision, the light, the positiveness. I was raised a Catholic. I'm still a practicing Catholic, and I believe that my faith brought me to where I am, and it sustained me. So even throughout high school, even in Catholic school or parochial school, I learned to embrace my religion, to embrace my foundation of faith in Christ, and that's where I hung my star. So I decided that then and there, that like Christ, everyone brutalized him. He was brutalized. And I said, if he can do it, I can get through all of this. And that's where I learned to embrace the struggle, embrace the adversity. It was not easy. I did fall into depressions, alcoholism, substance abuse, because I was numbing myself from society and the societal pressures. And I'm beginning to like myself as a human being. And I'm learning I was once told by someone in the society, especially in Tom's River, that I was a lone wolf. Actually, I'd rather be a lone wolf than a lamb led to the slaughter. So that's one of my strengths, is being a lone wolf and being separated from the pack. And I'm okay with that. I believe in knocking on doors. I believe in going in person. I believe in not taking no for an answer. That you have to keep going. And I believe in vision. So what I did was, in person, I applied for, first of all, Paramount Studios. So at Paramount Studios, I was the person, you can't expect to get a high-end job in the beginning. That's why I try to teach people who are learning about the industry, is work in the middle. Work in any type of service and work your way up. So I was working as a movie surveyor. So I'd come up to you and say, would you like to take a survey on our movies? And I'd do that for Paramount Studios and 20th Century Fox. And then at one point there was an opening for Turner Broadcasting called a Color Systems Technology. And I applied for that job, where I was enhancing his black and white movies, Ted Turner's classic movie library, through computer animation and colorization. Now, I did get a lot of flack for that. They did say you were destroying the original. However, it was not as bad as cutting down trees in the rainforest. That was one of the things that I always said. It was such an experience working on classic faces like Marlene Dietrich, Judy Garland. I mean, the list is endless on all of those movies. And that, when I watch some of the classic Turner movies now that have been colorized, I'm fascinated. I was like, oh great, I worked on Miracle on 31st Street. So that was such a great experience. And then MTV, I wound up, they were doing MTV Boston, and I called the producer. And I said, would you be interested in having any of my art in the Boston house? And lo and behold, the work was there. They took Mental Blocks, and they also took Space Pop Ozzy as well, and Family Portrait that's here. So they were in the Genesis house, and from there I went to radio, talked about that on the radio back in 97, I believe? And then from there, in 1993, getting back to the Clinton artwork, it's Blind Venus Goes to Washington. My subject, Blind Venus, who's here at the Berkeley Library, was blindfolded to look within for self-love and self-realization. She was disabled, but she was able, getting places, going places. So I had a painting that I gave to President Bill Clinton, Al Gore, and Socks the Cat at the time, and it was called Blind Venus Goes to the White House. So 1993, and fast forward, following up and calling the Clinton Library and Museum, and you found out that they were in the Clinton Library and Archives. So I am officially in the Clinton Library, Archives, and Museum in Little Rock, Arkansas. Let me just say that I knew I'd come back. I knew I had to leave New Jersey, go to LA, experience LA, and then come back to my roots because I knew I'd take care of the family. I always knew that. I knew I had to escape. Also, I might add that I have to toot my own horn. I am the eldest of 5 and the only one who graduated from the public school system. My parents let everybody drop out. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I have to suffer through this because I have to create an example for my brother and sisters coming up the ranks. So I'm glad I got my degree from Central Regional class of 1981 and Bayville School. When I moved back from Los Angeles to New Jersey to actually be with my parents, take care of the family, I started doing art. And my dad was the only one who really encouraged me, who said I had a great eye, and who did give me the backbone and the push. I did join a group. I was with the Tracks Tom's River Artist Community, great group of people. I find that I'm better alone. I rather fly alone. I know how to knock on doors. I know how to try to get the interviews. So groups, I respect that as a group show, but I actually like to fly alone. My main inspiration was Keith Haring. Also, Warhol was a master. Picasso. I mean, I remember doing an art show. And it's the hard things that people, the negative that people say to you sometimes that you hold on to. Someone walked by my art show in Hoboken. One of the first art shows, Jerry Fowler in Hoboken, who has a great art show. If anyone wants an art show there, she's still there doing it in Hoboken, New Jersey. Back in the day, in the late 90s, 93. Someone walked past my booth and said, a Picasso wannabe. And that crushed me. And then it's like, really? You really have to say something like that? And then I realized that, hey, you have to realize where they're coming from. They may have been damaged. They're dealing with insecurities. And if you let that damage you and hold you back, then again, that's unfortunate. You only have one life to live, and live it. The art is not respected as much in culture. It's a Walmart type of mentality. Go get it from the wall and put it on the wall. People don't seem to really embrace the fact that a lot of time and effort. Look at the ages in Italy, the art. I have never been to Rome, but I have been to Paris. I have been to the Louvre. I have been to Notre Dame. When you go and you see the art in person, it's transfixing. It moves you, just like the Newark Museum, just like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, just like the New York Public Library. You're transported back in time. If you embrace it, you can go back. You don't have to stay within your time constraints that you have right now. You can move throughout time. You could time shift by going through the arts. Social change is important through the arts. And a great nation deserves great art, as they say. And also President Kennedy, my president. One of the most important things that Kennedy said and resonates with me today is ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And that always resonated with me. What you can do for your country. It's my country 𝐸𝐶𝐶. And I've been asked by people, why are you a Catholic? They don't like gay people, or they don't like this type of person. Well, my question sometimes to people is, I'm an American. I love America. I don't agree what's going on in every aspect of America, but I'm an American also. So I don't like identity politics. I was identified, young people identified me. I believe identity politics is a separation. It's a reason to divide and conquer. So we're all human. I designed a shirt back in 1995, human, with a barcode. So we're all human. And that's what we need to get back to. I mean, let's save the humans. That's what we need to do. I mean, they want to go to Mars and destroy another planet. I don't get it. Let's fix this planet. So that's, I do believe in exploring other worlds, but why can't we fix our world? Fear is not a factor for me. It's not a factor. I mean, I've had everything happen to me. In Hurricane Sandy, floods. My mom passed. I got her through that. I know we all have adversity. You have adversity in your life. You've had, I'm sure, a lot of different trauma growing up. We all have trauma. We have to recognize that we're all damaged human beings. And that if you allow fear, Roosevelt, wasn't it Roosevelt, I believe? Fear. The only thing to fear is fear itself. And I base myself on Roosevelt. Again, Dale Carnegie. I go back and look at the masters and the people that preceded us and learn from them. If you fill yourself with fodder, that's all you'll be with. But if you do fill yourself with substance, I do believe that I'm blessed, as you are. We didn't grow up in a world of cell phones. We didn't grow up like this. We grew up involved in the world. And our children today, that's their babysitter. And I hope the parents can recognize that that is a damaging birdcage. I mean, that really locks people into something. It is something that I hope people can see through. And vision is very important. And I believe that socially, I have faith in humanity. There's a specific message. Take, for example, End Hate Crimes. It's a piece that's here. End school shootings. So if you look within the painting that's here on the walls, it was in honor of Matthew Shepard. I did meet Mrs. Shepard, and that was due to Elaine McConnell. She invited me to present the piece in 2004, if I'm not mistaken, at the Ocean County College, where she was having Elaine McConnell, the original, one of the directors for the Ocean County Library System, wonderful person. She invited me to that event where I actually met Judy Shepard, because Judy Shepard was the main speaker for that. I think it was involving social change and embracing everyone's differences. And this particular piece, End Hate Crimes, I presented to Judy Shepard. I have a photograph with her. Now, that was in 1999, and Matthew Shepard is in this piece, in the sunrise or sunset, and then also James Byrd. Now, Mr. James Byrd was drugged to his death. I think it may have been in Mississippi, but he was drugged to his death behind a pickup truck. So if you look at this piece closer, this is called End Hate Crimes and School Shootings. The Trenchcoat Mafia, they were the Columbine group. Those two, I forget their names right now, but they were the first mass shooting in the United States. That was the Columbine. It's called the Trenchcoat, if you look closer at that piece. And then also, I have Tinky Winky. He looks like he's being nailed to a cross. Now, the reason for that is because Jerry Falwell, back in the day, said that Tinky Winky was gay. I mean, you're calling out you're identifying a children's character from England as gay. I mean, that's again identity politics. It's separation of us. It's divide and conquer. I want to bring us back as a human society. We're all human, and that's where we need to get back at. I don't know what you identify or how you identify, but you can't change your DNA. You can't change your biological DNA, and we're all human, and we have to embrace that. I remember going into Notre Dame. I had a chance to go into Notre Dame. I was in Paris. And I had a chance to walk to the left where everyone was walking, or walk to the right where everyone was walking. And I said, I'm a practicing Catholic. I'm walking down the middle. And I'm really glad I did that. I embraced my own intuition. You have to embrace your own intuition. You can't let anyone deter you or anyone change your intuition. You have to work within the light. So I embraced my own intuition and walked down the middle. Like Tom, I can tell you that I was transfixed. I was transported in time. It was like I was here, but I wasn't here. And I was there, but I wasn't there. And I walked right into the middle, and I actually prayed at the altar of Notre Dame. And then back in 2019, I'm on the subway. And I look at the New York Post. I'm like, what? Notre Dame is burning? Uh-oh, something big is coming. Wouldn't you know? I said, we had 9/11, and I don't know if it's going to be something like that. But I have intuition. I said, something big is coming. Watch out. And then wouldn't you know, the COVID and the novel coronavirus was in 2020. God has a great sense of humor. I don't fear things. I embrace them. I think it's like a movie. I mean, as you look back in history or your mind, and you try to get through something in life, you say, wait a minute, this could be hard. And then when you get through it, you're like, that was a piece of cake. So that's what it is. It's a piece of cake. And my favorite line, Tom, is when I was working on Turner Broadcasting, I had a chance to work with Aunt Maine, Rosalind Russell. And my favorite line of Rosalind Russell in the Auntie Maine is, life's a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death. And I embrace that line. I believe that I'm the salt of the earth. I grew up here. I grew up in the oceans. I grew up at Seaside. I grew up in Bayville, where we have all of these sculptures. I mean, look at the Cosmos, with the old Cosmos with the vehicle, and then the champagne bottle over there from the 60s, and our dinosaur. I grew up with these 3D images. I grew up in Bayville, and this was my inspiration. I know it was adversity at first, but I knew I was 30 years ahead of the crowd. I was light years ahead of them. I knew that they all had to catch up, and I hope society is starting to catch up. As an artist, you transcend time and space, and that's what I hope I can do, create a legacy. And Ocean County is my home. I'm happy to give back to home state of New Jersey. Thank you very much. Go Jersey and Ocean County. Well, there's a message always for adults, but my target audience is the children. I am working on a book for children. So that would be my target audience, the young minds, because again, your uniqueness is your superpower. My uniqueness is my superpower. Your uniqueness is your superpower, and I'd like to really get that message out to our younger audiences. Space Pup Ozzy, Cosmic Cat Cass saves the world. So that's one, and then I have another book in progress, and I don't know if I should talk about it. Maybe I should. It's called Good Morning Charlie, and it's based on the Charlie's Angel series, where we're finding out Charles Townsend, how his life was back in the day, how he rose from immigrant parents to come to the States, and it's called Good Morning Charlie. And it's based on him becoming a police officer in Brooklyn, New York. I believe that's where I have my book story. And then how he evolves to become the Townsend agency. So that's called Good Morning Charlie. So Space Pop Ozzy first, and then Good Morning Charlie. So I'd like to go into a more 3D world. I like to do that. There is something where the Space Pop Ozzy was difficult. So if I can tell anyone in the arts or creative endeavor or any education or getting a job, it's going to be difficult and it's going to be hard, but embrace it and learn from it. So now I'm doing 3D. The art I may go back to, but it may be a 3D image. I'd like a social message, so that might be something coming in the future. I'd like to be a Renaissance man. That is actually blue contractor paper towels. So what I did was I put them in glue, and then it was not easy. I was designing this for the Halloween parade, and it's in my car called Cartoon. It rained that day, and by that day it was all wet. But Space Pup Ozzy was based on my wire hair fox terrier, and his exclamation point is on the face because he's so excited. Exclamation point. And Space Pup Cosmic Cat Kaz was in my mind. So that's a book that I'm working on how they come back to save the planet, save the humans from ourselves. And I really am really happy about that. The components are all recycled. I didn't pay for anything except the contractors, paper towels. All of the form is, the sculpture is based on chicken wire that I got in the garbage, and also other pieces that I molded, that I received, actually found in the trash. You have to have a vision, Tom. Well, I've been asked to do the excuse me one second, South Palms River Beer, Craft, and Food Festival on September 30th from 9 a.m. to 12. I believe that's right. And I'm going to have a booth there called Beat the Clock. I'm going to have Space Pup Ozzy and Cosmic Cat Cass and Blind Venus there, and then I'm allowing the children to come and create their own postcards. And what they'll do is they have a few minutes to create their own postcards, and then boom, once they're done, they get a prize. And I have historic stamps from around the world that I'll be putting on their postcards. So there'll be family heirlooms at that point. And the only thing that I've learned in life is two commodities, your health, and one of the biggest commodities is time. And what you do with your time is very important. So if you decide to watch your phone or decide to do other things, I am going to fall through the cracks and create my own reality. I mean, that's where I'm creating a legacy. And I have no children. I love children. I love working with children. That's very important to me. And then I'll give them back to their parents or their caregivers. I love children. And that's where I believe that those are the minds that I'd like to reach. Life is beginning at 60 for me. It really is. I mean, I'm reinventing myself and I'm enjoying my life. I'm liking myself. It took a long time to like me. I had to get through the alcoholism, the drugs, and the hate, the self-hate. And now I'm through it. So I'm trying to embrace a positive outlook in life for everyone. So if I can say anything to students and children or parents, you don't respect yourself enough. We throw away in this society. It's such a let's go on to the next thing world. You know, it's a consumer society. You throw away things that I regretted. I shouldn't have thrown that away. Oh my, I wish I didn't throw that away. And you go back and you look in life and you're like, wow, I see the message in these pieces. And art has a message. Message of hope, humanity, faith, and world without end.
Support public libraries. Like, share, and subscribe for more great videos.